Hello everyone, welcome to this webinar. Thank you all for joining. We're going to be doing an overview of CommVault today, and on the call we have Glenn Cattermole from CMS and Dean Beckett from CommVault, who are going to do an overview for you. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to use the question panel on the WebEx, and we'll be doing a Q&A at the end as well. The agenda is going to be Glenn kicking off with his overview of CommVault, followed by Dean, who's going to give you an update on the partner program, and at the end I'll be doing a prize draw. So without further ado, over to you, Glenn.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. All I'm going to try and do here is give you a little bit of an overview of the product without spending a lot of time on it, and point out what the major kind of differentiators are. First of all, the CommVault itself is actually a company, and they're the world's fastest growing data storage software company. They've grown the business over quite a remarkably short period of time to a business that's worth about $500 million a year, and they've been managing to grow at about 27% compound annual growth rate over the last 7 years, which if you think about it is right through the middle of a horrendous recession. So they're obviously doing something right to manage to grow when the rest of the market is managing with single-digit growth, or as some of the Americans would call it, negative growth in some cases. They've got about 19,000 customers currently, and the important thing is they've managed this growth with 100% organic development of their own product. They haven't just gone out and bought something to increase the numbers. They've done it by developing what they do. They've got about $3.5 billion market capitalization. In other words, that's what the shares are worth, but they're out in the market. And they've got about $430 million in the bank, and they own their own headquarters, and they're building another headquarters. So they're extremely cash rich. Part of the reason for that is they don't want to be the result of another hostile takeover, as has happened in the past with some other smaller customers. And they've managed all this lot, and yet they're managing 97% customer satisfaction survey with their existing users. So again, much higher than the industry averages and so on. So what is CommVault? Well, you might have been thinking of it as a data backup product, but it's actually a software product that does data management in its broadest sense. They kind of look at the market and say, well, customers have data, whether it's on applications, on databases, on messaging solutions, and filing systems. And it doesn't matter where your data sits across these various places, they provide the ability to manage that data. So wherever your data sits, whether it's on an application, a database messaging solution or whatever, CommVault provides a solution which allows you to analyze your data, replicate data from one server to another. It provides protection of your data, in other words, straightforward backup. It also provides archiving of that data. And just a quick definition here, protection is your traditional backup, so that's making a copy of some data so that you can use it later and recover your data back to an earlier point in time. Archive is about moving your primary copy of the data and putting it somewhere else. So it's about tiering your data, putting it on lower cost storage, and yet making it available should you need it later on. You obviously need to store this information that CommVault's collecting, and CommVault also provides the ability to search. And it does all of these various functions through what CommVault call the Common Technology Engine, which is basically a single console you can log into, a series of policies and other routines that allow you to give security of access, encryption of the data, compression of the data, and all those kind of good things, and alerting and so on, all from a single console across all of these different features that you might want to trigger. The data that CommVault captures is held in something called the content store, which is kind of a name for a virtual repository sat across the CommVault estate. So this could be multiple sites, live and DR, multiple sites with data. And all of that data that CommVault's captured and managing goes into the content store, whether it's backed up to disk or tape or cloud or wherever. And then once the data is in the content store, we provide a number of features into that content store which allow the customer to recover data, set retention policies for information. So it follows the life cycle that is right for the business. It allows you to discover the content of the data that you're storing. So this is content indexing of your backups, but that also means you can use this for compliance, but also as a business tool. It provides analytics of the information so that you can see how much information you've got, how big, how old, that kind of thing. And it can provide end-user access into that information as well. So this isn't just a corporate feature that isn't of any particular interest to the end user. You can provide the end user the ability to recover their own files. You can give them the ability to search through their own data and find information, whether it's captured in an email or on a file system or whatever. So it's a single data management product across all these different areas and different features and functions. If you look at what the rest of the world did, well, the rest of the world basically got their checkbook out and wrote checks to buy products to do these various different features. And this particular slide, which CommVault called the grid, shows you that if, for example, you bought Symantec, you might be buying backup exec to back up some servers, net backup to back up some others. But if you wanted to do data reduction and stuff, you'd be looking at things like PureDisk. If you wanted to do archiving from email, you'd be looking at something like KVS Enterprise Vault. And the same goes across the whole grid. Because customers don't just buy from one manufacturer quite often, they pick and choose from various ones. So it's not unusual for a customer to be using Legato for their backup from EMC, but using Symantec's product for archiving. And of course, the minute you do that, you're capturing multiple copies of the same information in multiple locations, and you've got all the complexities then of having to back up the archive solution as well as the backup solution, and having different hardware to do it on. CommVault, one solution, one set of hardware and software that does the whole thing. Just to be clear, the company is called CommVault. The software is called Sympana. Obviously, CommVault think they're doing a great job, but it isn't just CommVault. The industry is also very pleased with what CommVault have been doing. Couple of slides on this. The first one on the left shows the Gartner Magic Quadrant for Enterprise Backup and Recovery Software, where they're in the Leaders Quadrant, top right of the Gartner Magic Quadrant. And they've been there now for 3 years, 2011, 2012, 2013. The 2014 report's not out yet. And basically, Gartner are there, by placing them in this quadrant, Gartner are saying that not only are CommVault talking a good talk, but they can actually implement these solutions as well. The chart on the right is the equivalent one from another group of gurus called Forrester Wave, and that again puts CommVault in the leaders area of their chart as well. And it's not just backup and recovery. If we move on to the other features that CommVault does, on the left here we have the Gartner Magic Quadrant for Enterprise Information Archiving, which once again puts CommVault in the Leaders Quadrant. And if you look at the rest of the products in there, they're all very specialist products that only do archiving, and yet CommVault's single product that does data management manages to get into the Leaders Quadrant as well. There was a lot of work done in the last release to improve the features and functionality, especially in this area. And DCIG, which is another group that look at these things and advise customers about what they should be looking at, what they should be buying. DCIG put them as best in class for VMware backup and recovery for 2012 and 2013. So the industry thinks they're doing a good job as well. Just briefly then, why is CommVault doing so well? What are CommVault's strengths? Well, the first thing to point out is it's a data management product for all of your data, whether it's on physical servers or at virtual servers, whether it's running on a Windows box or a Unix box or an Apple Mac, for example. It's available on all of those different platforms. It can back up your data, whether it's in a data center, whether it's a remote edge device like a laptop that a home user might use, and it can manage that data, deduplicate it on disk or tape, and store it in the cloud if that's what you want. And it has lots of additional features to improve functionality and speed, like the ability to use application-consistent disk snapshots from the vast majority of the enterprise disk arrays as a means of speeding up backup and speeding up recovery. And it's one product with multiple functions. We've got backup and archive and data analytics in something that CommVault call OnePass. So basically it's a back it up once and never bother backing it up again approach. Incremental forever, as it's sometimes known, but this one works. It does replication of data between servers if that's what you want. And it turns your dead backups into a business tool by giving search features that can either be used for corporate e-discovery type roles or for end user searches too. It supports a wide array of disks in terms of for the snapshot capability, and it supports P2V conversion on the virtual server side, so you can have a backup of a physical server that goes up in smoke and then spin up a VM from the backup copy without having to need the physical server available. And that's great not only for disaster recovery, but it's also great for testing. You can spin up a test version of a live production server that's normally running physical. You can spin it up into a VM, run it on an isolated network, do testing, install new releases of software, things like that without any risk on production. The synthetic full backups is a very neat trick. Other people do it, but CommVault do it right. It means you get quicker backups, shorter backup windows, and reduced network load. Typically 90% less backup load, 90% less data going across the network, which means your backups complete much more quickly, and it's much easier on the infrastructure that you're backing up. Deduplication, which is kind of an important feature because everybody's trying to get more bang for their buck. Deduplication is just a feature built into the product in software, and you can switch it on to do target-based deduplication, so that's backing up to something and deduping. You can do source-level deduplication, in other words, getting the client to do dedupe, and you can do deduplication to tape and cloud. It simplifies the protection of edge data for remote sites and remote users, so your laptops are being backed up into the same solution that is backing up your servers. And it doesn't need additional hardware. You can use existing favored vendors like IBM or HP or Dell to provide the servers and the storage infrastructure, because this is just software running on industry standard components. And by putting together a solution that integrates backup and archive and search all on one set of infrastructure, you're reducing the amount of infrastructure you need to deploy, reduce the amount of disks and servers and so on, which reduces your capital expenditure and operational expenditure. And finally, it protects you from unauthorized access. CommVault works to the FIPS 140-1 and -2 standards, which are American financial institution standards, but they're also used by the American Department of Defense. So this gives you a good idea of how well protected your data is, and it supports all the usual encryption schemes like Blowfish, DES 192, AES 256, and so on. Just in terms of what would a CommVault customer look like from your point of view, well, there's no particular market sectors or verticals or any particular minimum number of employees. It's all about the amount of data you need to manage. And every customer has data they need to manage. So as long as there's a reasonable amount of it, that's probably the key feature you need to look at. The average kind of deal size, this is the kind of purchase price that an end user would be looking at, is kind of the order of 40K. You can put together a small solution at kind of 10K, but typical deal size is sort of 40K. And above about £25,000 upwards, it's possible to do a deal registration scheme with CommVault where you register the deal with CommVault. If you're the first person to identify it, CommVault will potentially work with you to help close the deal, and they'll protect your position against other resellers who might come in vying for the same business. Typical margins are kind of 10 to 30%, depending on the market sector, how much data. Generally, the bigger the deal, the lower the margins tend to be. And the nice thing is you also make money on the maintenance, which is typically about 15%, and you would make that on year one. So customers tend to be very sticky. 95, 97% of customers renew. So once you've sold it once, you get that renewal revenue year on year on year generally. And it's only if they've got a problem with you usually that they might ask to perhaps move to a different reseller. But it puts you in a strong position. And there are obvious upsells of selling CommVault because it's just software. It doesn't go in on its own. So it needs training and installation. It needs servers to run it on. And it needs some backup hardware, disk arrays, tape libraries, that kind of thing. So there's some nice upsells that hopefully should match up with your products. Softer targets, what would a suitable customer look like? Well, it doesn't scale right down to the bottom end. If you're actually looking at a small customer who's only got a few servers, a small amount of data, something like Backup Exec or ArcServe will probably be a better fit. But as soon as you've got a reasonable number of servers, perhaps 20 or so, perhaps 10 terabytes of data or more, then they're starting to come into the bottom end of what a CommVault customer would look at. And at the top end, a CommVault system can deal with something like 5,000 to 10,000 servers or 15,000 laptops. So it's very much an enterprise product that scales really well up into the high end. Another kind of soft point for customers would be one that has multiple point products. For example, Veeam for VM backups, but ArcServe for physical. Or they might be running an archiving solution from one manufacturer but using a backup product from another one. And a final one probably in terms of softer targets would be customers with older solutions. If people have bought backup appliances in the past to do target level deduplication of data, disk-to-disk backups, or customers who've got aging tape libraries and they're finding the whole rigmarole of moving tapes around to be a bit of a pain, it's an obvious time to move in with CommVault and say, well, we can do it differently. We can reduce potentially the amount of disk storage required to hold the backups you need online, reduce the amount of tape usage you need to do, and look at doing this in a more modern fashion. It's also possible to migrate, and there are tools to allow you to back up from, for example, NetBackup, Networker, Tivoli, even Backup Exec. But generally, there needs to be a reason why people are moving. And then once they have the reason why they're going to move, the fact that there are tools around to make the migration easier just makes that part simpler. CMS distribution are your source for the CommVault product, and your account manager can help you in trying to sell this product into your customers. The account manager can help you with the deal registration process with CommVault. They can give you access to the price list and provide you with pricing advice, especially early on. There's different ways of doing things, which is the best way. We can sort out how that one works. We can provide you with data sheets. We can provide you with competitive information against other products out there so you know how to sell it against Veeam or how to sell it against NetBackup or whatever. And we can also provide you with technical pre-sales assistance, which is actually what my normal role is to do. So that's internal or customer CommVault meetings. We can do conference calls, WebExes, product demonstrations. I can help you with pre-sales presentations and whiteboard sessions. We can even help with things like tender responses, solution design, and so on. And to get the best out of CommVault, you really need to go down the lines of being CommVault certified. You get more discounts available and so on. And it can help with the sales training and certification side as well. So just as a final summary then, we're talking here about a backup solution that is aimed at 10 terabytes, 20 servers up, and is a market leader in just about any way you want to look at it in terms of backup and archive, search, VM backup, and so on. Here's Dean Beckett from CommVault. I'll leave you to explain your complicated job title.
I don't think it's that complicated. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dean Beckett. I'm responsible for channel and OEM marketing here in EMEA. And I wanted to take some time just to highlight to you some of the top-level elements and features and benefits of our partner program. The partner program is called Partner Advantage. It has been recrafted for this financial year 15. Our financial year starts April 1. And I'll give you some bit more information about the partner financial year, which actually starts a quarter behind. But it's really been crafted to give a valued convection between customer, CommVault, and partner to make sure that we have all of the linkage points. There's lots of transparency, and there's a lot of richness in the program for everyone. So I'm going to talk about what's new for the Partner Advantage program in financial year 15. So what's new to this program is that the partner program year will start July through to June. That gives added focus from us to our partner base because it means there's no clash between our financial year ends. There's a 6-monthly assessment, which is a new focus for us from our partner capabilities, which gives added focus and allows us to track how our partners are becoming accredited and certified, and also helps us with planning. It gives us a consistent framework to enable quarterly business reviews, to make sure we're engaging correctly around rewards and benefits, and also to make sure that everyone's on track from a financial and a revenue perspective. We've added a couple of new designations to the program in FY15. One of them is a market builder, which is a top-tier program for high-growth partners. I won't cover that too much in this presentation, but further information on that program is available on InnoVault, which I will cover later, and that's our partner portal. We've also added professional services to the partner program, which obviously carves out some additional features and benefits in a separate environment for our service providers. We've increased the values around rebates and MDF, and that's both through the Market Builder program and the value and the percentages available through distribution. InnoVault, as I said before, is the partner program and the partner portal. This really is your window and your eyes and ears into and through CommVault. So if nothing else, please ensure on the back of this you have a look at InnoVault and check out its capability. And obviously deal registration policy. This is new for the enhancements to the Partner Advantage program for financial year 15. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through this. So really the value proposition around the evolution of the partner program is really about building our strengths and yours by increased business focus and rules of engagement. We've adopted the philosophy of 4 C's, commitment, competency, coverage, and capacity. And that's really how we craft any of our messages and any of our kind of routes to market to and through our partner community when talking about marketing campaigns, offerings, promotions, etc. It's really about enabling you to grow your business, whether that be through enablement, engagement, or really just coverage and a level of support through different areas of the organization. One area of the organization that is also new to assist in the rollout of Partner Advantage is the Partner Enablement Center, the PEC, and again I'll talk to you a little bit more about those. But this program has really been crafted so our partners can reap the benefits of added incentives, more rewards, larger pots of marketing funds through MDF, and really about driving the transparency between organizations to drive success. So a little bit more about the program itself. It's a very simplified program. There are 3 levels. There's Platinum, Gold, and Authorized. Again, the qualifications for each of those tiers are around the 4 C's, the commitment, the competency, coverage, and capacity. And that, again, as I said before, that really relates back to your ability to have sales and technical engagement and authorizations. And there are certain elements and benefits to the program. The enablement and support that partners receive. CommVault as a portal has been greatly advanced. There are other tools that are available, such as CommVault Partner University, which is an online modular education-based system, which really gives you the capacity and the ability to choose when you want to enable and educate yourselves outside of a classroom format, so it's a lot more flexible. There's tier-based discounts and incentives, and obviously as you migrate up through the tiered structure, these are increased depending on your level of investment into CommVault. Deal registration is another new benefit, as I said before. Demand generation, we also have other marketing automation platforms, so you can execute pre-packaged shrink-wrap campaigns to go to market quickly and effectively. Some partner configurator is available again for our technical communities. There are certain other enablement criteria that need to be met for the configurator, but it's all about tooling and enabling you with the right tools to deliver the messages or the quotations and the capability to your customer base quickly. And then there's the executive briefing centers, which is another center that we've upscaled recently to allow you to have an infrastructure and a platform to demonstrate product and proof of concept. This really gives you a snapshot of how we structure each of the tiers, the requirements for it, and really then some of the revenue numbers that we're asking for. I won't take you through this slide in any great detail. These slides will be available on the back of this WebEx, but it really gives you a snapshot of the kind of thresholds that you need to achieve for each of the tiers, the investment you need to make with your sales accreditations and your technical certifications. And obviously they upscale as you move through the pyramid. So the baseline, as you see, there's not a great deal of requirement for an authorized partner, increases into gold, and then increases further into platinum. There are some caveats around unique customers, so it's net new logos built into this program, but as you can see, they're not too heavy. I wanted to give you a bit of an overview of how we align ourselves to you as a partner and to our distributors when talking about the different tiers and the coverage within the program. I mentioned before the Market Builder program, which is really at the sharp end of our pyramid. This is a program that's invitation only and is really designed for high growth, high engagement partners. And they have a direct management through our partner business management structure. Our Platinum and Gold partners will have a managed focus partner from CommVault, but also will be heavily managed through distribution. And then our Gold and Authorized partners, our distribution partners do a great job to manage our partners in this space. This is a snapshot of really some of the key points of the partner program throughout the calendar. As I said before, one of the key changes is that we've moved our partners' financial year 1 quarter behind ours. There are 2 other key factors within this calendar, and that is around compliance. Compliance will be not just on a revenue base, but also the soft skills around technical certifications and sales accreditations to ensure that partners are putting themselves in the best capacity to drive growth and to drive success. You'll see more coming through on the partner program year. As I said, this is just launched. This is a snapshot of some of the core touch points throughout the calendar. More will come out around communications, more will come out around enablement and education, and you'll start to see that filter through both from ourselves, through Channel Wave, which is our newsletter, and through our distribution partners. Obviously, the one reason for having a partner program is to have a channel-centric model. Under the umbrella of this model, we have things. I think there's probably nothing new that you see here, but just to highlight some of the core capabilities, all of our incentives are built under the program. All of our products and services offerings that are channel focused are under this umbrella. We have channel marketing. Again, we have something called the Grid, which is our MAP, which enables you to go to market. Our channel communications and our channel enablement all get wrapped up into this program. Next slide, please. So what does our program look like? What's its identity, its brand? Once again, it's called the Partner Advantage Program. this is a snapshot of really the branding and the visions that you'll see from the Partner Advantage program. The logos that you see on the right-hand side are what we supply to our partners as they attain certain levels throughout the tiering structure. InnoVault. InnoVault is probably the most key part of any partner engagement when engaging with CommVault. As I said before, this has really been enhanced and developed for release with new financial year 15. It is the single point of entry into CommVault and will give you the ability to network into our organization. Every piece of collateral, training guides, accreditation information, deal registration capabilities, all of these tools are housed within InnoVault. You also have a single sign-on to your education portal, which is the CommVault Partner University. So it really is a one-stop shop and a powerful tool for you to navigate into CommVault, to seek advice, to execute campaigns, to educate, and to deliver messaging into and through CommVault as an organization. You will see some more communications coming out around Partner Advantage and the InnoVault platform over the coming weeks. We will be supplying you with a URL for registration on the back of this presentation. So please dive onto it, have a look at it. One of the key areas for partners are the Partner Enablement Toolkits. This really outlines each of our core areas of execution as outlined earlier, so replication, deduplication, backup, etc., and really gives you some competitive analysis, some of the proof points, so case studies around it. So I urge you to access InnoVault as quickly as possible to start to familiarize yourself with some of our tools and the way that we produce information to go to market. Once becoming a partner and signing up to Partner Advantage, I wanted to highlight this to you because there's a number of different role types that Partner Advantage and InnoVault ask a partner to fulfill. It looks a little scary, but I'll show you it isn't. This is really so that we have all of the primary contacts relating to each of the key areas, whether that be a Partner Advantage program champion, pre-sales consultant, sales lead, an administrator to start talking about MDF and go-to-market from a marketing capability, and if there's any educational leads within your organizations, it gives us the ability to communicate with you with the right information at the right time. And again, that's another enhancement to InnoVault. I mentioned Channel Wave earlier on, which is our only partner communication at this time. That's persona-based, so we need to qualify these role types in order for us to really have a robust communications platform with you. So that really concludes my overview of Partner Advantage. It's a vast network of tools and enablement capability. As I said before, I urge you to log on as soon as possible. If you have any questions, please reach out to the team, whether it be myself or the team at CMS, and happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Dean. Just briefly before we go into questions, I'll hand back to Kelly.
Hi there. Right, as promised, we said we'd do a live draw for tickets to the driving experience, which we're going to do now. So, and the winner is. Yeah, we need one, don't we? It seems a bit fat. Okay, winner is Rob Williams. Rob, if you're on the call, we'll be contacting you after the event with details of your prize. So thanks to everyone for attending. We're just going to have a quick Q&A to see if there's any questions that anyone has.
We're going to be sending these slides out along with a link to the material, so you'll see the slides, but you can also log on and hear a recording of it. So if you want colleagues to have a listen or whatever, feel free. The question here about access to the Partner University. If you log on to the new Partner portal, Partner University is now a link straight from the new version of InnoVault. So if you're registered for InnoVault, you should be able to get through to Partner University. If you're an existing user, then that should go through quite straightforwardly, and you should be able to, in effect, self-register. If you're a brand new user to InnoVault, then it can sometimes take about 3 days, something like that, before. InnoVault usually goes through in about a few hours, but the partner university sometimes can take a couple of days.
Yeah, that's right. However, through the new portal, it is a single sign-on. So I would recommend that if you have been a user of InnoVault and that it's been dormant for some time, you haven't accessed, it's probably wise to re-register so that we can make sure that we're capturing you for all of the relevant single sign-on capabilities that this new portal provides.
Existing users of InnoVault should have received an email in the last week encouraging you to re-sign on. If you haven't received one of those and seem to have lost access, then just either get in touch with us or self-register via the website, and you should be okay. If you have any problems, just please go back to, well, in your first instance, go back to your account manager, and we'll help sort you out. The link to the session will be posted along with an email that will be sent to everybody later.
Okay, that's it. Thank you everyone again, and we'll speak to you soon. Thanks for attending. Bye.